trying to hit this. I guess I could take one.
I believe that the Minnesota Timberwolves are going to win the World Championship.
They are advancing to the Western Conference Finals for the first time in 20 years.
Oh, it's on, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, yeah, baby.
Nobody will ever come catch me. I'm just trying to be myself.
Welcome to Wolves After Dark, everybody. We're back. We took a break, a 2-game break, but we're back. Timberwolves win against the Hornets comfortably for what feels like the first time ever.
The season, at least.
At least the season.
The Hornets, yeah.
Yeah,
right.
the Hornets.
Recently.
Yeah, we struggle with that. But if you're new here, like the stream, subscribe to the stream. Hopefully you're not suffering from daylight savings time like seems like most people are this year. My dog this morning he's so crazy about food. And this morning he just forgot completely about breakfast until I've made him eat 4 hours later than he normally does. So random. But anyways, Timberwolves win. How was that game for you, Ashwin?
Oh, it was quite a game. Man. I mean, to recap the games we missed over the weekend, right? That Denver game was kind of amazing. We missed it live, and I had to watch it on, after the fact. And wow, I wish I was there. I wish I was here doing a show with you on that, because that was such a retelling of a story that we saw after the Denver series, or during the Denver series in the playoffs, which is still just such a high note for us. And then the San Antonio game just right after, schedule loss back to back, and we're on tired legs, and I felt like that could have been a game for us to explore some of the young guys, and we didn't really get to see them until it was out of reach.
Yes,
yeah, it's kind of like a tale of two games. And this game, all right, it's great that we lost a game. Can you bounce back? Can you respond? And can you kind of put forth an effort to really just just shoot the piss out of the ball and get this game out of reach early? I didn't see any of that in the beginning of the game, and I was a little worried that this is just hey, we're playing down to our competition, or maybe Charlotte's looking better than I thought. But long story short, I'm glad that we put it away. We got to see some garbage time, which is very meaningful basketball for the young players of our team that need time, that really need development.
Finally, it has been. I mean, like you said, there were opportunities. I felt like in that San Antonio game to just kind of let loose and see what happens. I mean, it's the end of a back-to-back. You clearly aren't playing well. Just try something different. But it was good to see tonight. Yeah, and it is super valuable for these guys. I mean, they need to make mistakes. They need to make mistakes at the NBA level, and not just summer league, because summer league's a totally different game. So, and yeah, the Hornets actually this year. Not that I'm gonna try to hype up the Hornets and say that they're doing something crazy. But I do think that they have a pretty good team. I do for the Hornets. I think they have some pieces that are nice basketball wise. And I think it can work. But thankfully we were able to win. I was super nervous about this game. Because I just thought we never take these games seriously. One, it's a Monday. It doesn't seem like too many people are super engaged with this game. And to be honest, I mean, you and I in the beginning of this game were wow, this is boring. This is bad. And it was still, as David Peterson says here, it was still a relatively boring game. There were some fun moments. Obviously, Naz Reid got really hot, and we got to see the young guys play a little bit. But yeah, no, in general, obviously just pleased that we won the game, and that we didn't let Hornets, because in the beginning the Hornets were doing the thing that I was just totally expecting. They just start hitting a bunch of threes. Brandon Miller has this amazing dunk right off the bat, and I was oh, okay, this is that was sick. Yeah. But we did it, and most importantly, I know chat's gonna love this. No Joe Ingles minutes tonight.
Oh my God, is this the new era? The 1-0 when Jingles sits the whole game?
There we go. We got to test it out now. Even though I love Jingles.
Not that I'm a petty rose-colored Timberwolves fan, but Lakers lost, Knicks lost. Feels good.
I forgot.
Rob Dillingham played. Rob Dillingham scored.
Yeah.
Feels good.
forgot everybody played tonight because they take it off tomorrow for all the voting and stuff like that, or to be able to vote. Which everybody should go vote. But it's crazy to have every single game. It's like football. It's kind of awesome. But anyways, do you want to jump into the tier list?
I do.
Let's do it. Let's jump in right away. There's not, I mean, to be honest with you guys, there's really just, I mean, this was such a boring game that there's not really that much to really recap. I mean, you know,
we could make it a 3-hour show if you wanted to, Cameron.
We'll find a way. We can certainly find a way. But yeah, if you're new here, I'm not, and you don't know, nobody's new here. Everybody, if you know what's going on, and if anybody argues in the chat, I need everybody else because I see all the regulars. You guys have to correct it. I don't want to say the stuff that I normally say. But do like the stream and do vote tomorrow. That's the sponsor today. Anyways, seeing the way our offense ran tonight when Nas and DDV came in was great. It was.
Yeah.
We had a fun lineup. I can't remember exactly who it was, but it was like, it was right before we started to really really started to pull away. We had like, it was no Ant actually.
Yeah.
I don't remember exactly what the lineup was, but it was pretty good. Anyways.
Oh my gosh. Nick Anderson, we need to talk about the number of tiers. I think we need to go deeper in Butterfly. This is the game we needed to launch us. I like that word launch. It makes me feel like we're doing something special and get us back in that mentality. I agree, because after that, kind of like I don't know if we like let it get away from us or slip away, but it didn't feel like we gave two shits about that Spurs game.
Yeah.
And if you make threes, if you hit shots, things will just kind of open up the floor, open up the game for you. And then if you get to the line, things are going to open up the game for you. We didn't do any of that against the Spurs. And I don't know, what were they doing? CP3 popping off for double digits, Wemby with his basically alien-like performance. And like a lot of the others were just like getting to the rim at ease and making me kind of question like, what's happening here with Gobert? What's happening here with this like, big defensive stalwart lineup that we're bigger, we're better. We should be just like taking them down. All right, well, here, lesser competition against the Charlotte Hornets. And I'm after a few minutes in the first quarter, like we just basically just hit the ground running. Our bench came in and gave us a new jolt of energy. And I really feel like our identity is when DDV and Naz Reid comes in.
Yeah, it is. And we can jump right into the players. Who do we want to do first? Do we want to do the young guys first tonight?
Man, it kind of like watching Luka Garza take a charge and it took 10 seconds to develop. I was like, give that man an A, Yeah.
That was the most obvious charge I may have ever seen in basketball. I'm down to give him A. He did miss one little bunny, which is, as Jim Pete was saying, is very rare. But yes, I agree. He was good tonight. He was Luka.
Long tier. Nas needs to look alive in those post-game interviews, especially when you have Katie Storm talking to you. What is happening with that? Why did I highlight that? Anyways, moving on. Dillingham, I want to give him an A too because he had the pre-check-in hype and then the check-in hype, and then he hit his first shot. Looking like someone we need to really infuse a little bit of energy into our lineup. That could be the guy. And I really want to see him thrive in our system somehow. So more so than garbage time, I really want Rob Dillingham to be integrated in the lineup in 8 minutes, which is awesome to see, by the way. 8 minutes, yes. Meaningful basketball, 2 for 3 from the floor, hit 4 points, including a goaltend from someone and a couple assists. So he did it all. Honestly, you could give him an A, honestly.
I think so. I think his first game is an A. Well, it's not his first game, but I'm going to call it his first game.
Yeah. Everyone else, I'm not going to say too much about. Josh Monat and Terrence Shannon Jr. It's awesome to see all you all. And I don't know, PJ Dozier, I barely knew that you were on our team. But it is significant that Joe Ingles is not playing. Maybe there was something that everyone was kind of pointing fingers after a couple of losses and being like, hey, this could be someone else's minutes, So seeing Minot getting some of that time is awesome to see. He hasn't really done anything in those minutes, though.
No, I don't. And I mean, this is maybe another hot take, but I just don't think he is going to do anything. I think, I don't know. He's like a hustle guy, but also it's not the same as Vando and where he can effectively get rebounds. It's just it's kind of chaos. and like
Yeah.
his 3-ball was hitting in like the preseason or the like summer league or whatever. But it's just, I don't know. It's just not it. I'm not seeing anything out there that's making me think that what everybody has been saying about him taking some huge leap. This looks like a slightly more polished Josh Minot.
Nick, there's no A+ tier. What are you talking about?
I
Yeah,
saw somebody
Minot
say we
looks
should
like
do
a Gerald
IDS.
Green kind of player to me, but maybe there'll be some screws tightened in his head, so like he'll pop off and become a significant role player. Hey, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, 21 minutes, 6 points. I mean, nothing really to rag home either, but like he's been kind of one of our better players this season. And so maybe to have an off night is like fine. To have an off night against a team that you're kind of blowing out.
He deserves it. I
fine.
mean, he's been like the only real consistent player this season that's been like good for
totally.
us.
I also demand more Terrence Shannon Jr. minutes to Chuck. I think there's untapped potential in that guy. But for Nickeil Alexander-Walker, give him a meh, give him a B. Doesn't really matter. He doesn't really do anything. So yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'll let you talk about the next couple players here. Naz Reid, 25 minutes, 9 rebounds, 2 assists, a block. 26 minutes, 9 for 13 from the floor, man.
He was on fire. And a lot of, he was super on fire the second half. I feel like the first half was okay, but the second half he was balling and heat checks and everything. You'll take 9 of 13 any night from any player. And he had the 9 rebounds. The thing with the Hornets is that they are just so small, and we were just taking advantage of them in a lot of ways in that first half, other than like the first 6 minutes. Rudy got a couple lobs, and just having that size, I think is, you're looking at somebody like Naz Reid, who we're putting at like the 3 occasionally. And he's going up against people who are like half his size. So it was unfair. And Naz was on tonight. So I'm glad that, I hate to keep harping on this, and eventually I promise I'll stop talking about Cat, but like this is the kind of stuff that we wish we would have seen from Cat more often, where it's like, oh, you're hot from 3, just keep chucking, because like he's 5 of 7, that's tremendous. And you're able to really create some separation there in like the late 3rd, early 4th, to get the young guys in. So anyways, I'm talking way too long about somebody that just played amazing tonight. Plus 33, 25 points, 9 rebounds. This has got to be cash.
It's cash. It's straight cash. Straight cash, homie. And also, welcome back, Naz Reid. I feel like not like a doghouse kind of mentality for me, but he was like, shooting himself in the foot defensively at times, and kind of like, I strongly feel like our identity blossoms or really kind of comes to fruition when Naz Reid and our next player, Dante DiVincenzo, come out in the court, because we just have a spread 5 offense, and it's probably the most beautiful offense we can put out there, especially when like Randle's dribbling and driving, or DiVincenzo's going to the paint. Like it looks so good. And I just do feel like this kind of game is necessary. Like one of the better players for the Hornets was Taj Gibson at like 39 or whatever, how old he was. And like if that's the case and you're outbodying him, boxing out, getting rebounds from him, that's a plus. That's an A1 for me, kind of like mentality for Naz Reid. So it's awesome to see. We need more of it, and Jim Peterson was mentioning how like it's so hard to kind of stay consistent off the bench and be this like gunner and consistent scorer, and we need it because like our team is missing some juice and some energy right now. And Naz Reid is providing a lot of that, especially a game like tonight. So
it's huge. We need it, because it can't just be Ant all the time. That's what I was kind of alluding to one of these previous games, where I can't remember whether it was here in the Discord or wherever, or Twitter. But like having Ant have great games is fantastic. I love him going 7 from 13 from 3 or whatever. That's great. But in the history, like no one player is going to just win the game for you. You really need others. Because like, sure, if Ant's hot in the first half, that's fantastic. But then the second half, they're going to stop that. So then who is going to pick up that scoring? And clearly Naz can be one of those players for you. But as you were sort of saying, but it's like Naz Reid can be that player. Dante DiVincenzo can be that player. Julius Randle can be that player. And you know what? We hope that somebody like Jaden McDaniels could possibly be that player in like a backup situation. But yeah. So anyways, long story short, cash for Naz Reid.
Cash. probably one of the better players, if not one of the best players of the night tonight, was Naz Reid. Equaling that, in terms of my opinion, was Dante DiVincenzo. 14 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, couple steals, couple blocks, a few turnovers. That's okay. I actually really love aggressive Dante DiVincenzo at all aspects of the game. When he's just sitting there not involved at all, when he's missing shots, and then he loses that in tenacity. So then he's not shooting, right? That's when he's at his worst. That's when we're at our worst, honestly. He brings an energy and a jolt of what this team needs when he subs in for Conley. The age gap, it's 10 plus years. It shows. And I think we look way better with Dante DiVincenzo out there than we do Mike Conley. And so I think he's not even a secret anymore. He's the reason why we're going to be pushing far into the playoffs. And this game kind of showed it, because as a kind of a point god he can be, I really just like his tenacity and his drive and his relentlessness. So I would give him an A.
Yeah, I agree. Honestly, immediately out the gates, I was like, oh man, I don't know what's going on. And to be honest, and out of the gates tonight, and then in general out of the gates to start the season, Dante DiVincenzo has just not been, I don't know, maybe it's just going to take time for him to fully feel comfortable in the offense, because there's just been some awkward moments. He had one tonight early where he was trying to do a layup and it was just really ugly. And I was like, oh man, this is just not the player that you saw on the Knicks last year, who was carrying them single-handedly through the playoffs.
Oh my God, yeah.
But then you saw that second half and later into the game, it really did start to pick up, and it really did start to look good. He had that one nice 3 at the end of that quarter, the buzzer beater. That was super fun.
That was sweet.
And when he's hitting threes like that, I'm all in. And you're right, the offense does, in general, other than maybe the first couple possessions with Dante DiVincenzo in, look way better with him out there than it does Mike. So I think I'm with you. I think I could put him in an A tonight, because other than that first little blip, I feel pretty good about it. So
yeah.
Hey.
Hey-o.
He is. Yes, Ragnarok.
Ragnarok.
That is totally the role that we need. If he can perform like Derek White does for the Celtics, we're looking real nice if that's the case. Real nice if that's the case. But
yeah,
we'll see. Also, the Celtics, I kind of hated the Celtics previously, but this year I'm just man, maybe they are just unstoppable.
They look really good this year. They look really good, especially with the East kind of eating itself, right?
Yeah.
A lot of teams are kind of underperforming in the East, so they just chuck shots, make threes. They're going to look great. Yeah.
Yep. Anyways, this isn't a Celtics pod. I'm sorry I took us off that way. But who's next?
It's fine. Let's go to the starters. We were talking about Conley a little bit. 23 minutes, 4 for 8 from the floor, 11 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 block. That's cool. A couple foul calls that didn't go his way. He had a couple threes. That's it. That's all we need. Conley, we can preserve you when we're up big. I think that's also kind of a bonus for the season if we kind of blitz out and make early leads unsustainable, sustainable leads. We can kind of blow out teams and throw the big guys in or the new guys in and rest the old ones. Hopefully we can do that throughout the season so Conley doesn't have to get massive burn. And then kind of have be peak form towards the end of the season rather than kind of nurse a lot of injuries as he's kind of currently doing, I guess, right now. I think this is fine. I also didn't really notice him that much. So I'm going to put him in an old tier and probably old tiers above him.
Yeah, I forgot we had old tier. That's perfect. I was just about to say, it feels wrong because this is a pretty good production for Mike to this year's standards.
Yeah, totally.
And I was like, it feels wrong to put him in med because he's been not great and tonight was fine, but maybe we need a fine tier. That's what I was thinking in my head. But no.
More tiers, man.
But old is great. This is a decent old. This is fine old. And to your point though, if you can get this kind of production out of Mike in 23 minutes and only have to play him 23 minutes, that's a recipe for success. And that's why it's so important that Dillingham, 1, gets minutes, but 2, doesn't completely shit the bed with those minutes. Because if he can just be decent, maybe less than decent, and just survive the minutes that he's out there, that's fantastic. But you just can't have him be like a minus 15 player for you when he's out there for like 10 minutes or something like that. So, but I do think that throughout the season, as the season goes on, he'll get more comfortable. He'll have more options, especially once Ant and Julius really start to get I mean, they've already looked pretty good, but especially once they get a lot more reps together, it'll be really good. So, yeah. But Mike is an old. I see Nick Anderson says Minnesota Mike should be a B plus. And also Nick Anderson says no more tears. No more tears.
At least one more time. At least one more. I mean, David, who do we side with? Nick Anderson or David Pearson? I don't know. We'll go with where the heart goes, you know. Julius Randle, he is where his feet are. 13 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, a couple steals. He didn't have to do much. And I think my favorite plays from him is when he's driving to the rim and he passes it out. He doesn't need to do that every possession. Sometimes he's doing a little bit of bully ball, and it kind of feels a little classic old style basketball. But a little concerning. 4 for 10 from the floor. He didn't really get going, and I don't know, like just in general, could have used more from him. But you know, I'm going to give him a B. That's my plan, at least.
I disagree. I thought it was a pretty ugly game from him. I thought that this was just like, honestly, I think this is like prime D'Lo tier. Just like kind of weird shot choices.
Blowout with D'Lo. Damn, dog.
Yeah, weird shot choices. I saw a little bit more effort on defense at times tonight, but it was less like smart defense and more just like chaotic. And he was just like swiping away. He had a couple times where he stole the ball and then he lost the ball. I think a lot of it is that I probably just have to, both with Randle and DiVincenzo, I feel like there's a chaoticness to their game that I just don't like understand yet. And maybe it's just me not understanding it. It's not them being chaotic. But like seeing Julius Randle under the basket when he has like 3 people on him and he's just trying to like pass the ball out, he's comfortable. I am not. When I'm seeing that happen, I am extremely nervous. And maybe again, it's because I'm just like hurt from like the cat days where stuff like that would be a automatic turnover. And with Julius, he just always finds the right person in the right spot for those. I don't know how. It like breaks my brain. But anyways, I don't know. Am I crazy? Is that too far low?
I think so, but I mean, it's your opinion. Like, I don't think you're crazy. I mean, maybe you are crazy. This is the start of you unwinding and just like, hey, in a blowout, everyone's in bottoms. We did hear that quite a bit tonight. Bottoms. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Side note: I mentioned this in the Discord. Shout out the Discord. Is Grady just done saying cash for 3-pointers? I don't know if I've heard one all year. I've heard bottoms 10,000 times.
He's overworking himself, you know. Then he can't come up with the energy to say cash. I don't know.
My hypothesis here is that he is saving cash for the national broadcasts only.
Oh my god!
So
that's quite a hypotenuse.
Yeah, he has stopped saying it for FanDuel Sports Network or whatever, because he wants to like trademark it to ESPN or TNT or whatever.
Cash.
Yeah, double cash. And then he'll get interviewed someday and say, "Have you ever thought about doing a triple cash?" Anyways,
these are like the final years of Michael Grady with the Timberwolves, so we gotta cherish it.
They may be the last year, honestly.
Apparently, there were 2 cashes tonight.
There were 2. I'm just not listening. Apparently, I was too busy making emojis for the Discord. Honestly. Anyways, were we on somebody? Or I think we were on Randle.
Someone, but you know, grade them however you want. You
putting them D'Lo. Everybody can disagree with me.
Doesn't matter what we have to say. Dude,
this is more important than the ballot tomorrow.
That's actually that's crazy, dude. I don't think I can actually move on without a bit of a change, a little tearflation for my boy Julius Randle.
We could put him in meh. Meh is maybe fair.
I will let that slide. Or we are. Jaden stands in the building. Everyone stand up if you're a Jaden stan. I sure am, but he is making it harder and harder. What?
Oh.
3 for 10 from the floor, 9 points, 2 block shots, 3 rebounds. couple free throws. My boy Blue in white tonight because it was home team. I feel like everything was forced tonight. Holy crap. He was wide open. He was in his own head. He was missing bricks. He was like 0 for 7 at one point, maybe 0 for 8 even. And it's been kind of a season-long thing going on with Jaden. After, especially when he was like popping off in the playoffs, my God, he was like one of the next ups, And I don't know what's going on. It's just early season woes. Maybe, he was expected the ball more in the offensive flow, and now we're forcing it, and it doesn't look natural. It doesn't look good. I think in time it'll be fine. We have to work on it, but we have to work with lobs to Gobert, like we have to work with Gobert. We have a lot of holes right now, and McDaniels being one of them sucks, man.
Yeah, I agree. And I am the resident Jaden hater here. But I just, I know we're only 7 or 8 games into the season or whatever. Or is it even 7? Is it like 5? How many games have we played? What is our record?
I think we're 4-3. Yeah, we're 4-3. 7.
Okay, 7. Yeah.
Math, guys.
Something like that. But it's just like I feel like his offensive game. Okay, I was about to say something way too far. I was going to say his offensive game is cooked, but it's maybe not cooked. But I just don't think it's going to be that much better than it is right now. And I don't mean tonight. Tonight was like not a great shooting night. I know he had like a decent shooting game not that long ago. But I just, it's just not something that we can rely upon. We're how many years in the league now? And it's like still kind of like we still have to worry about nights like this. And he's not going to get a bigger offensive role than he does right now unless he starts producing with the shots that he's getting. And, he is immensely valuable on defense. So I'm not saying that like this is like let's like get rid of Jaden type of deal. Because he is seriously needed on defense. Yeah, I hated everything I love. Yeah, Capo, you like Towns too. You're right. We are beefing. But I don't know. It's not me giving up on Jaden, but it is giving up on like his offensive ability as like a second or third option ever. I feel like he's always going to be like a 5th option, or maybe not 5th. It shouldn't be beyond Rudy. But like it should be like 4th, or maybe behind Rudy in lobs if Rudy only caught lobs. But Rudy does not only catch lobs. Instead, he catches the lob, comes back down with it, and thinks that he can dribble and do post moves.
That's the worst. That's the worst position for Jaden to be, like catching grenades and like chucking and making sure that they like hit rim. Like that's awful.
Yeah.
I don't want that for Jaden. I also think that over the course of the season, those shots are going to go in. So like his confidence will be back to his former self, I would say. But like, I guess maybe Jim Pete was saying something, and it maybe is true that when the shot goes in, he's his most confident. When the shot goes off, he's like rims out and whatever. He's like really thinking about it a little bit too much. I don't know. Just lack of urgency from him is maybe my biggest takeaway. But I think, Noah said this earlier. Also great to have you, Noah. I know that you said that you're going to be busy this year, but great to see you here. Always dropping nuggets for us to talk about. Like we're paying him for his defensive ability and IQity, right? And like the one thing though is maybe he needs to, as like David Peterson mentioned, like just get boards, man. He's such a good paint protector, kind of like disruptor at all aspects, but to get boards, to end possessions, and to hit threes, that's kind of like baseline. That's what we need from Jaden, and anything else is gravy. And like he can pop off and he can score 20, but it's just like, are we gonna want it? We'll want that, So I don't know.
Yeah. All in all, I'm not gonna be like super harsh on Jaden tonight. I'm gonna give him a meh. I feel like I feel like it was okay. I mean, I don't really.
So it was better than Julius Randle?
I think it was equal to Julius Randle.
It's the same tier. So you did tearflate Julius Randle so we can move on from your hate.
Because I would have probably honestly, if Randle was a dealer, then I was gonna give Jaden a dealer.
Thou shall not rate our players anymore. Rudy Gobert, 30 minutes, 4 for 5 from the floor. Wow. He missed one shot, and that was like the dumbest shot I've ever seen. 8 points, 4 assists. What? 4 assists, 8 rebounds. I don't know how I'm reading these stats out loud. No free throw attempts, no 3-point attempts. It will not happen this year either.
No, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
And a block shot. I don't know, man. I want you to talk about Rudy Gobert. Maybe I can kind of compile some thoughts here, but really, in a nutshell, I like our team better when he's off the floor for some reason. I don't like how we force the ball into his hands the way we do. It should just be lobs and dunks. And then when the ball's in his hands, my God, he doesn't know what to do with it still. I want to put him in old tier, but it's up to you. You can put him out.
That's maybe a fair grade tonight. Yeah, it wasn't like Rudy's best game. Although I will say that a lot of the time, right now, he's getting the ball a lot because DiVincenzo is like, I don't know, he is addicted to giving him the ball. Like every time he's looking for the lob or looking for the post up,
pass to go back.
and it's crazy. So a little bit of it's on DiVincenzo for just always throwing the ball into him when the rest, I mean, a lot of the Timberwolves kind of understand that that's not his game, but maybe not. Maybe they still don't understand. It does happen so much that it is uncomfortable to watch. But I do think DiVincenzo is doing it more than everybody else right now. So, yeah, this is a super odd stat line for him. It was weird because there were times early in the game where it felt like we were just a bigger team and it was like overwhelming the Hornets a little bit. But at the same time, to your point about you liking him off the court more, I do think that it's totally matchup dependent because there's certain games where it's like Rudy needs to be in all 48 minutes, and the minute he goes out, the other team goes on a run because they know that they can attack the rim or we're not getting rebounds or whatever it is. But I might go old. I might go old tier tonight. I don't hate that.
Fine. That's fine. It's kind of a flex tier. It's a flex tier.
It is.
It's a live tier list, everyone.
Dynamic.
Yeah. I sometimes I question the drop coverage intentionalities sometimes where like I think he can just press up and disrupt the possession right then and there, but he's so worried about the points of the paint and the dunks and whatever happens that he like sags off and then LaMelo hits a floater. Like, yeah. Okay, if you were just up on him, you could have closed out that possession right there, but LaMelo hits this easy as floater. And I'm like, okay, so this game is not, we're allowing way too much going on in the first quarter, and that's when Rudy kind of really sets the tone in a lot of ways. And I don't know, like I think that he could have done a lot more, but whatever. Like I guess we blew them out, and I should stop complaining. I mean, I'm expecting a lot more, and I also just feel like we're missing where we were as a team last year. This time last year, we were talked about as the team to beat, as we were crushing the Celtics, as a 7-1 record. Like my God,
yeah, that was like a year ago today, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. Right, right before the in-season tournament. Wow! And anyone hype about the in-season tournament when any team can win?
I'm so excited! I'm flying to Vegas. No, I'm not. Yeah, no, super lame. But yeah, I put Rudy in old tonight. So Rudy's an old, which means we've got one person left.
Yeah, PJ Dozier. We forgot about you.
He's not even on the tier list.
He's not even on the tier list. That's how much I don't know.
That's okay. I'm a PJ Dozier hater now.
Yeah.
He takes too many shots. I know he only took one tonight, but he always is taking garbage time shots. And it's like, we want Dillingham. We want Terrence Shannon Jr. We want Minot. Anybody but you. But also, I understand that he's like trying to do it for himself and show us his stats, whatever. But we want Dilly.
That's the most that we're going to talk about PJ Dozier all season. Anthony Edwards, 29 minutes, 21 points, 5 rebounds, and a bunch of nothing else. But the most important thing is I really think that he just took it upon himself to just take this game over early. That was awesome to see, and we really didn't see anything more from him, which is also kind of okay to see in a game. And I just said okay to see. I I don't know. The one thing that I'm kind of worried about a little bit is his free throw percentage, but I'm not going to really shy too much about it or talk too much about it. But the only thing that I wanted to say is he took a season low 6 threes tonight.
Wow, season low. That's crazy. Interesting. Which he shot so many right off the bat too. But yeah, this was like, I mean, a generally like unknown. I mean, yeah, he only took 11 shots tonight too in total. That's like crazy. Because he's been taking like 30 every game. But no, I mean, like we were mentioning earlier, Nas had the hot hand late, so it's like just have Nas go. And then obviously we had garbage time at the end, so it's not like we need him in the fourth quarter to clutch up. There was nothing to clutch up. It was over. So yeah, no, I think that it was fine. I don't have any like super amazing remarks about the game. Like I liked that his threes that he took early went in. But that's it. The thing is it's going to take some getting used to. Is that if he seriously is that much better of a 3-point shooter this year, then I'm comfortable with him taking those threes all the time. Because like if he can hit, obviously he can hit 4 or 6, or if he's hitting 66% every single night, then of course I want him shooting every shot to be a 3. But like in the past, he's been super streaky, and there's been weeks at a time where he's been like, my 3 is off. And like there was like, what was it? The last season he had like a 22 or 23 shot like in a row missed from 3.
Oh my gosh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So like for me, I'm still kind of in that mode, and it's like, it's a little bit of no, yes. Not entirely, because I do know that Ant has shot better this season. But it's just going to be a learning curve, because if you miss those shots in the beginning, I mean, Charlotte already had a lead in the beginning of this game, so it was like if he misses that, like they were up by, well, they only got up by 7, but like
Right.
if he misses 2 or 3 of those,
Yeah.
this is maybe like a 10 to 15 point game, and it's a totally different situation then.
That's right. Yep.
So it gets me nervous, but at the same time, it's if we need to start comparing him to, like, nobody says this about Steph Curry, but like I'm not trying to say that he's Steph Curry, but he's clearly trying to be that or emulate that in some ways this season. So I'm not going to complain about that yet, but like if he starts having stinkers of games from 3 where it's really bad, then obviously that'll come up, because he has the ability to drive. Like I know he doesn't want to, but he needs to do that if the 3's not falling. So he is shooting threes better than his free throws, Stephen. You're right. That's crazy.
Pretty crazy. It feels like, at least. I kind of just want to like say that I don't think shooting 15 threes a game is like fun to watch. It's fun when you're on fire, when you're a Steph Curry, when you're like throwing things that are Hail Marys and then go in, whatever. Like your Drake May or whatever. And what the hell was that Saquon Barkley like jump back gain of yards? That was insane. That was the craziest play I've ever seen in football.
That was insane.
Yeah. But back to this, like, it's kind of funny how you kind of learn a little bit in the offseason through getting gold medal with Team USA and watching how people kind of perform and pace themselves. Watch LeBron. Don't emulate LeBron, please. Don't emulate LeBron, but it'd be crazy to kind of take what you got out of it and kind of pace yourself for the season. Shooting threes is giving you like, X amount of more time to, to like endure the season. If it makes any sense, like if you're just driving the rim all the time, you're gonna like wear out, get injured. You're gonna like have injuries. You're gonna have things that you're gonna have to deal with. If you're just shooting threes, you're kind of, I guess, taking it easy on one aspect, and also kind of like maybe also from Finch's standpoint, you can kind of say, hey, like the offense will get there if we can kind of manufacture wins by just like out shooting teams. Like maybe I'm just kind of like top of mind, not really thinking about things right now, but like maybe the offense will come. We're trying to form an identity. We're trying to form rhythm, but also we need to win to keep our standing in the West. So just shooting a bunch of threes kind of offsets some of the, inefficiencies, the turnovers, the lack of rebounding, because we're just going to outgun you. And we brought in extra fodder, extra, shooters for that reason, even, and we have to patch a lot of holes in this team that like we thought we had kind of remedied, and we have to re-find our identity in a lot of ways. And some of the people that we are expecting it pop off are not consistent enough, right? So the tray ball, as Anthony Edwards said, fuck him for shooting as many threes as possible. It's fine, I think, for now. And also, it's super biased and rose colored and matter of fact, but like Anthony Edwards is not my favorite player. So and currently he can still do a little wrong, but he basically can't do any wrong for me. And it's so electrifying when he does his fadeaways and when he does his step back threes and when he gets to the line, when he gets, he does all those things. And he was trying to do that dunk right after Brandon Miller's dunk. My God.
Yeah.
He could take over this game at any moment. He didn't need to tonight. He had 0 minutes in the fourth quarter. That was kind of a cool stat line. We didn't need him,
Yeah. I didn't realize that. That's crazy. I agree. Quick fact check.
Oh.
in the realm, in the realm of voting tomorrow, election day. But Ant's free throw percentage is 63% this year, and his 3-point is 45. So it's not really that far fetched to say that his 3-point shot is better than his free throws. And then also Xavier Mansfield fact checking me. That 3-point streak that he was after he dislocated his finger on the dunk in Utah. So that is when he had all those bad shooting games in a row, which did make sense. And also that's the time of year where he was taking over for Cat, so he was forced into a lot of the offense where we didn't really have as many. I mean, we don't have like a Dante DiVincenzo or a Julius Randle to like make up for that. So it's a little bit different. But and then as Butterfly says, I'm so happy he's taking and making so many threes. And cool. Matched 2 records with Steph this season. The haters can shut up. I think it's fun to watch. And hopefully if he continues to shoot 30 or 45% from 3, I want him taking as many threes as possible. So I will take that. But anyways,
go ahead.
Oh, sorry, go ahead. I was gonna move on.
I'm just gonna say some sort of meme-worthy clickbait content piece here. Kevin O'Connor still exists, apparently. He works for like Yahoo Sports or something. And he had this podcast, he had this show that basically kind of like talked really poorly of Anthony Edwards, I think, just trying to get views. And he has like 150 views now. Like, ooh, he's making it big time at Yahoo now. And he had a comment about like how I didn't even think the title of the video was like Ant is just shooting too many threes, and it's like he needs to do what he does best, which is get to the rim and get to the line and everything. I'm like, okay, great, amazing commentary. Like, what the hell? Of course he needs to do that too, but like he picks his spots now, and I think that's like that's kind of excelling or like kind of ascending in kind of IQity in terms of like you could go to the rim every time, but you weren't getting the calls, right? You were going to the rim and potting up, and then you're wearing down, and you're getting you're picking yourself off the floor, and you're late in transition. Shooting the 3, it fixes a lot of things actually.
It does.
We aren't like we are not like the best in transition, but at least he's back, at least he's already back from the perimeter. You can get back pretty quick, at least you can offset some of the deficiencies with turnovers and lack of rebounding with threes. Like, it's like there's purpose, there's eventual like intentionality with all this. And I just think it's actually a great skill set. If you're that good at shooting threes, holy crap, it just is math. Like, make them, like, shoot them, take them.
And it's not as simple as he's just chucking threes. Like, he's not. I mean, like the first game or two, it felt like whoa, like he's just like pulling up from everywhere. I do think it's a little bit more refined and a little bit more intentional. This isn't just him 100% being lazy, but I do also think, like you were saying, it does help with everything, because like, what was the problem that we had in the playoffs, or the said problem by everybody, was that we were tired. So like, if he can start the season instead of driving and being really aggressive and physical, and still like produce for the team in this way, of course we want that to happen. So we'll see. It's somewhat, speaking of football analogies, and the Chiefs just played tonight. But like, Patrick Mahomes is a fantastic player, but you don't see him really going crazy stat wise, because he's kind of just doing what he needs to do, and picking his moments where he's so talented that it doesn't really matter. He can just he can have a game winning drive easily, but his stats for the game are like, 225 yards, a touchdown or 2. And it's like, but they win. And that's all that matters. So like, but people still refer to him as the best. I think that there's a little bit of that Ant is attempting to do, where he's like, I'm not trying to be like SportsCenter top 10 every single play. He certainly can do that at times, and he's picking and choosing those moments when he has the energy or feels it's necessary. But yeah, so I mean, long story short, take the threes if you're gonna make them.
Yeah.
Xavier Mansfield. The other good thing about Ant shooting threes like this is they're not all just step back FU threes. There's a lot of catch and shoot threes from movement, which is the thing that
Totally.
he talked about so much coming
my
out of the
gosh.
Olympics.
Yes. This is like one of my favorite comments. Like the fact that he's off ball moving now. He's like learning to just not be dead on the court.
He's not just
and
Andrew
watching
Wiggins.
other people play. He's like involved. It's like, yeah. My favorite thing that he's added to his game is this moving without the ball.
Yeah, it's really good. But anyways, to get to a grade to him, I mean, this was like a good night. I don't think it was like overly good. I don't necessarily think it was meh. I mean, I kind of think it's like a B.
Yeah, let's go for it.
I mean, like obviously, if for those of you if you haven't been here for the tier list before, A1 is like unforgettably good. And Cash is like really good shooting, and A is just obviously everything else kind of makes sense. But like we're kind of basing this off of each individual player's expectations. So of course, like Ant was like made more shots than like everybody else like above him, or maybe not Nas, but like it's just based on how we expected him to go. So I think a B night is fair for him. And yeah. Hanson. I've seen you post this multiple times. We can't see it from our end. I can see it over here on my secondary screen. Is that like based cam or something?
Wow. Jesus.
Hopefully. Got to get the viewers up.
Cam.
What
are your thoughts about being called Cam? Are you called Cam in real life?
Everybody calls me something different. I feel like it's either Cam, Cameron.
Aaron?
Maybe those are the only two things. But yeah, no, I don't really care between the two. It doesn't really matter to me.
I don't think I've ever called you Cam.
Well, I know not to call you Ash.
Yeah, that doesn't really do anything, but I'm just like the triggers a little bit. I'm no like Pokemon player, but I know
that's kind of cool though. But anyways, there's the tier list for audio listeners. Cash is Nas Reed tonight. A is Luka Garza, Dillingham, and DiVincenzo. B is Anthony Edwards. The dynamic, new, brand spanking new, old tier has moved below B and above meh, and it has Rudy Gobert and Mike Conley. And then for the bottom of the tier list tonight, it's meh, which is, I mean, that's a pretty good night if everybody is above meh. Jaden, and Randle. And there's the tier list. Wow, take a picture, everybody. Cool. Yeah. Well, next up for the Timberwolves, who do we play next? And
Thursday, I think.
Next? Is it Thursday?
Yeah.
Who is it? Oh, it's the Blazers, right?
Whoa, really?
Maybe. We do play the Blazers like 3 times in the next 7 days.
For some reason I thought it was Atlanta. I'm checking right now because I'm unprepared.
Oh, you were right. It's Thursday. I was off one day by Portland. It is the Bulls at the Bulls.
Oh,
guys,
the Bulls.
It's gonna be a blowout, and the Bulls are gonna win by 30. That's my early prediction. And you can put it into FanDuel. I know you guys can't bet in Minnesota. Put it into FanDuel, or you could do it in Prize Picks. Whatever the over is on Kobe White threes, do it. Whatever the over is on Zach LaVine threes, do it. Whatever the over is on every Chicago Bulls player's threes, take the over. And I think you'll be millionaires. Do not take my financial advice. We play the Blazers Thursday. We play the Thursday on your birthday.
That's amazing, Jay. Yo, we play the Blazers on Friday after another back-to-back. That's so stupid. Oh my god!
Many. There's a lot of back-to-backs in the.
You see the schedule coming up? We're playing the Blazers like 1,000 times.
I know. That's what I said last time. It's like 17 games this whole month.
And we should have gone to Portland. Are we going to? We're not going to Portland, are we?
I'm going with my dad.
You are?
Yes. I haven't got tickets about this, but
we didn't talk about this offseason, and then
we talked about it, and then I was like, I don't know if I can do it. And then just like super recently, my dad's like, "Hey, I'm going to come out to Seattle," and I was like, "This is the perfect time. We got to go down to Portland."
I wish I was your dad.
Whoa!
No, I don't.
Shout out my dad.
Your dad's about. Yeah.
But yeah, we play Portland Friday.
Remember when he used to show up on the show?
He may, he just retired, so he might be showing up on the shows a little bit more often. Who knows?
Dad tier list.
Dad tier. There we
Rate
go.
our dads.
Whoa, we could totally add a dad tier list. We had so many kids born from the Timberwolves this offseason. Anyways, Blazers Friday, and then the Heat on Sunday at home. Both of those are at home. And then 2 away games back to back in Portland, which we were just talking about, Tuesday and Wednesday. But these are a lot of winnable games. I mean, realistically, the Bulls should be like a winnable game. But they just crush us. There's just something, I don't know. It's crazy.
Kobe White. That's the difference right there.
It's Kobe White, and he's just incredible. Former Timberwolf, right? Didn't we technically draft him? Or he was our pick. He was our pick for the Jimmy Butler trade or whatever. I think he was like the 7 or something.
You're just wrong here. So we picked Jarrett Culver. We were going to pick Darius Garland.
Yeah.
And then Kobe White was the pick after. And you and I were talking about, like, why couldn't we just drafted Kobe White?
That's what it is. Yes. I don't know who I'm
Lauri Markkanen is the
that's what I'm thinking. Lauri. That's right. Okay. I knew there was some bull in number 7 or something. But yeah,
Kobe White was my pick that night, and I was telling you a lot about Kobe White that night.
You were. You sold me
over pizza.
We were having pizza in a Minnesota bar that's sort of kind of Minnesota now, sort of. They've lost their Minnesota ways. But yes. So yeah, we got some winnable games though. I mean, realistically, we should win every game against the Blazers. We should probably win against the Heat. And if Kobe White has an off night for once in the blue moon, we might just win the next 5 games. So it's a good time. I think this will be a really good time to see our offense maybe get some more Rob Dillingham minutes. Because that's what we need. We need these easier teams in the beginning of the season. We need to win these games.
Yes,
but we need to win and have fourth quarters like we did tonight.
Boom.
It's perfect.
That'd be so good to have.
We need Dillingham. We need Terrence Shannon. All these guys to get minutes so that we can possibly use them in real situations mid to late in the season. So, but anyways, that might be it for us tonight. Do you have any final thoughts?
Nope. We didn't have a 3-hour show. That's my final thoughts.
We didn't. We actually did pretty good. There was a time where I thought we were only going to do 20 minutes.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Thursday where we can kind of rest a little bit after what's going to happen tomorrow. And yeah.
Yes.
Go out and vote, everyone.
Everybody should go out and vote.
If you haven't already.
Yeah.
By the way, I used to be an absentee voter for Minnesota, living in Seattle. And so this was my first year voting for Seattle.
Really?
Seattle, yeah.
Nice. Well, cool. Yeah. Well, 52 wins still possible.
Still in play.
Intro as the outro.
Shout out Ian.
Shout out Ian. We might change it back to the Jazz. I know some of you guys like the Jazz. But for president, we are both voting for 3, 2.
Yo, trying to hit this. I guess I could take one.
I believe that the Minnesota Timberwolves are going to win the world championship.
They are advancing to the Western Conference Finals for the first time in 20 years.
It's on, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, yeah, baby.
Nobody will ever come catch me. I'm just trying to be myself.